the picture and sent it to
So
him.
here's my question.
Okay, if I'm upstairs with my head down, that means I'm on my break.
Okay, but when you're up there from 5:30 until almost 7, I'm wondering where you're at. I had to come find you.
So why you didn't come tap me? Would you taking a picture?
You shouldn't be.
Why do you have to take a picture
have this conversation
and send it
without your supervisor here? So why
I don't have a supervisor.
Him?
I quit. Fuck this
Okay,
job.
that's fine. Then I'm asking you to leave the store because I shouldn't have to have this conversation.
You want to send a picture in an email, and versus you could tag me and say, "Hey, what's going on?"
Again, I'm gonna ask you to leave the store now.
Fuck you and fuck you too. Fuck both of y'all. I quit this whole ass job. All right, go email that.
Bye.
Dumbass bitch.
Get tired too, you know.
Yeah. 72.59.
Attention all at-home shoppers. Fuck this whole ass job. Fuck Thomas Woods. Fuck Karen Sokolowski. Y'all can take whatever y'all want, because at this point ain't no security in this bitch. I quit. No, fuck you and this job. I quit. Nah, bitch. How about that? Nah, go email that. And you hoe ass nigga. Go email that, bitch. Hoe ass nigga. Nah.
Anti-Afro Svengalis. Oh, people, wasn't that something? It's always better to quit than to be fired. I'm not quite sure I would want to be in that particular situation, sleeping on the job from 5:30 to 7. At any rate, it is what it is. Well, the situation I'm coming on to tell you about is quite different. We ran a contest not too long ago. It was a $300 contest to guess who had been fired. Now, there are people who are complaining about the contest, and I'm going, what the hell is your problem? These people are up here spreading all kinds of lies on people and running around here giving people cash apps and demanding that people do what they say because they gave money to them on their platforms. So you've never heard me throw any sort of donations or support, financial support back up in anyone's face, and I never will. Once I support a channel and give them money, it's gone. And I don't have to come out here and tell people who I support on what channel, when, and where. I mean, other people are free to say what they want to say, but who the hell owes someone an explanation? Especially the people who are the main culprits in running around here doing anything, absolutely anything, to get money. And none of it involves honesty. I just wanted to put that out there. So here we are, the situation. We have the contest. Not too long ago, there was a winner. If the winner wants to come out and say who he or she is, they're free to do that. I'm not going to announce any winners of any contest unless I have permission to do so. Yes, indeed, the person who got booted, got fired, not quit, is Daryl Moore. And I'm going to give you, I'd say, as much or as little as I possibly can, because there are situations that are ongoing with this person that I absolutely do not want to disrupt. It was confirmed through many means that Daryl Moore was the one who got fired from his job. And what is the reason for the firing? Because he illegally accessed information about other people that he had no business accessing. Now, one thing that this Daryl Moore loves to do is make himself appear to be something that he isn't. What am I saying? He got up here and stated that he was a public official. No, you are not a public official. You were a public servant. If someone is a public official, they don't get walked off a job, not like that. And if they happen to be told that they have to leave this day, there is a whole process that he or she must undergo. Typically in front of the city council, the city manager and or the mayor would have to sign off on an official who is fired. Now, officials can be appointed or they can be elected. When you're working for any government entity, whether it's federal, city, state, county, you're given access to certain information. And depending on your job, that would determine what level of access you have to various systems. Whatever the case, you have to use those systems within the confines and with the regulations within the law. And when you don't do that, and that becomes an issue or discovered, you're going to suffer appropriate consequences, as you should. There were people who were also saying that we were running around here laughing that this whole situation had occurred. Where did you find anybody laughing about somebody getting fired? No, what you've seen is a bunch of people running around here dropping all kinds of lies, attacking families, and thinking it's funny. This is the category under which Daryl Moore falls under. And as you know, Let Me See Your Handcuffs, Kimberly Chandler was a member of the Against the Law team. That's the A team with law enforcement breathing down your necks. You can go ahead and deny anything you want. It is only a matter of time before I'm able to come back on here and give the actual details, the full extent of what very clearly went down. Just make this known. It wasn't one person whose information was breached. Yes, his computer was confiscated. These are facts. I don't care what he says and comes back on and blah, blah. So what? Time will tell. Time indeed will tell all. Now, I wanted to tell you something that I find incredibly alarming about this Against the Law team. This is something that is very common, especially I see this a lot with child welfare cases, aka CPS. While these people are not children, they act like children, they're not children. When you have a group of people and they target a person for ridicule and an attack, and to be the brunt of the jokes, and they want you to think that they got all these jokes approved with "Let me see your handcuffs" before they told them, lie, because she used to complain about you all, about how you were treating her. And let me tell you, the first time I ever went over to "Let Me See Your Handcuffs" channel, she had asked me, I had breezed through a couple times, but I never sat on her channel. This is not long after she perped into AFW. Oh, come over to, I'm going to do with my friends a live stream, the A team. I didn't know any idea who they were. So I decided to go over there, and I was disgusted. It was horrendous, and it was abusive, the way "Let Me See Your Handcuffs" was treated on that panel. This is before she started stealing from us and acting like she was AFW president and all that stuff. I'm looking at this going, what the hell is this? I was so offended by the way this Marcellus was talking to "Let Me See Your Handcuffs" that I actually typed a message right then and there on my first visit when they were on her platform. So you know what Marcellus ended up doing? Trying to get snarky with me and said something about my name, saying he. I guess he didn't know what gender I was because I wasn't speaking. And I corrected him. I said she. And he said allegedly. So this is the kind of childlike bullshit behavior that he engages in. And he had the nerve to say on that whoop ass threat to Kimberly Chandler, which fine, open the can of whoop ass. I don't give a shit. Open it up. But he had the nerve to sit here and say, as far as the Umar Johnson sector goes, we have nothing to do. You're not going to tell people what they're going to post on. You can't tell people what content they're going to post on. If people from that Umar Johnson sector want to post on you and anyone else on the Against the Law team, they will. And by the way, I'm not part of any Umar Johnson sector. I carved out this existence here in YouTube as the first person who was doing repeat cycle videos on Umar, and people came and tried to say I was part of their sector. I'm not part of their sector. I'm not part of any sector. But just so we're clear, whoever wants to make any comments about the Against the Law team or anybody else, they can make those comments. If for some reason those comments are out of bounds, that is something a court is going to determine. We're not going to have the Against the Law team who has law enforcement breathing down their necks telling us that we have to watch what we say. If I'm going to be reserved in my comments, that's a conscious choice, and it's for a very specific reason. It has nothing to do with any orders that the Against the Law team thinks they can issue against anyone. Now, this is something I find very frightening, that I want to give a warning to you. Roxanne, I don't know you, never met you, wouldn't be able to tell you from two leaves on a tree, but you're in danger. You're at risk, and you need to know that. There was somebody who did a live stream the other night who professes to know something about you. The person was talking about how your husband doesn't put up with any foolishness and didn't want you around this Against the Law team to begin with. But here you go. Now I'm going to focus very specifically on one issue, because you had some other things you wanted to say about people that were outrageously false. But let me tell you something that's truthful, and it was right here on the airwaves for everyone to see. You showing a picture of your grandbaby and you talking about your grandbaby. You are not even realizing that you did this with a dude on your platform that has a history of making false CPS reports. You understand me? False CPS reports. If you know someone who's into making false CPS reports, you better know you're in the line of fire. You are in the line of fire, honey, because once you get to them in a way that, let me see, your handcuffs did, you are done. They're going to do you in just like they did her. And I'm not saying, let me see, your handcuffs was mistreated in the way she got booted, because she's a backstabber. She's a backstabber. She's a conniver. She's all of these things. But the minute you piss off these people, they're going to be coming for you and that grandbaby, and they're going to make up all kinds of lies. And this is part of the criminal conduct that Daryl Moore engaged in. I'm not getting into that specifically. It's not just about him getting fired from a job. It goes much deeper than that. So he can get up here making all these threats about people and saying he knows this about. Yeah, if you do know something about someone that you claim isn't public knowledge, and you got it from your inappropriate misconduct, your illegal conduct from your job, that is something that you're going to have to deal with.
Listen here, the girl's been fucking since she was 12. Give me a break.
You heard what I heard. Now, this is along the lines of, let me see your handcuffs, the shit that she was spreading around, that this person was 8 years old when she had her first child. That's the calculation. I don't know what more of a serious sex offense that would be. An 8-year-old giving birth, is that even possible? These people just make up anything to make people sound as bad as they want to have the people sound. So Marcellus ups the age up to 12. And find me a state that has the age of consent at 12. We're talking about rape of a child. At any rate, none of this bullshit is true. These stories are floated around. They don't know how ridiculous they sound. But reiterating, you, Roxanne, are sitting up on a panel with someone who makes false CPS reports. Guarantee you, you are in the line of fire. And let me see, your handcuffs also likes to call and make false CPS reports. You don't think she's going to target you because of this situation going on here? Think again. People just don't think. Express it openly as if nobody should have a right to respond. Well, yeah, people are going to respond. What you reap is what you sow, in your faking ass Bible verses saying bless you and Jesus this, and turn around call somebody bitches and MFers and stuff. Yeah, right. So freaking phony. You and let me see your handcuffs all deserved each other. You're going to do each other in. Trust you me, it already happened. Already happened. None of these people are friends, because if you had a friend that was placed under court restriction as to referencing someone, has been ordered by law enforcement to leave a certain person alone, and informed that they're under formal investigation, but here they are up on some platform, they're so thirsty and lacking in content that they're putting their friend at risk. They're putting themselves at risk by even discussing this person. That's how desperate people get. They don't care. People get up here online and think they can just say whatever they want, do whatever they want. There will be no consequences. Yes, there are consequences to violating court orders. Absolutely are consequences to violating the law. It doesn't matter whether you like somebody, whether you agree with somebody. Nobody gives a damn whether or not you agree. If you're violating the law, you're violating the law. And people get used to it. They get used to doing what they want because they've been doing it to other black folks. They don't mess with white folks. Notice that, people. They do not mess with any white people. And then they get surprised when the hammer comes down. Now, let's talk about a little history. This person, Daryl Moore, claims he has all this information on me. Well, let me tell you something, honey. Nothing you could ever locate on me is even remotely similar to your history, which you have published publicly. You stated in an article that you were charged, or arrested rather, for assaulting a minor at a school where you apparently worked. I don't know what your title was. You stated you were arrested. You were placed in jail. Somehow this ended up into a psychiatric admission, inpatient. According to Daryl Moore, he says the charges were dropped. But very interesting, he has not worked in the educational field anymore. That kind of history follows you around. Not only that, he gets up on the airwaves, the international airwaves, and talks about how he beat another kid when he was working at a school. All proud of what he did. Roxanne, these are the people who you are dealing with. You are dealing with people like this who brag about beating children, who've been arrested for assaulting children at school, and they haven't been back in the field. I've always stated that Daryl Moore would not rest until you let me see your handcuffs was in the same predicament as he is, because he resented the fact that she still had teaching credentials. She doesn't seem to value her teaching credentials either, based on her conduct. So this is what's really gone on, people. And I'm not even giving you, I am not even telling you the 1/3 of it. I am not going to mess around and compromise any situation. But I tell you one damn thing, Daryl Moore, instead of sitting around talking about someone you shouldn't be talking about, why don't you file a response in federal court to the contempt of court charges that the judge entered as confirmed? What is the reason you haven't filed a response? According to the court order, the federal court ordered you to respond to your multiple violations of the mediation agreement. The mediation agreement was certified as a court order by the judge, and you violated that multiple times as the court determined, and the court ordered you to file a response as to why you should not be held in contempt. That was due June 24th, and here you are on the internet wasting time talking about somebody you shouldn't be talking about. So before you go around trying to tell somebody what's wrong with them, what about what you got going on? Marcellus, your ass is in court too. Yes, you sued an ex-employer, but you have some shenanigans in court that you were called out on. Roxanne, it's only a matter of time before they turn on you. These are two dudes. If you think they're going to sit here and one of them is going to take your side, you got another thing coming. The clock is ticking. Get out while you can. Let me drop this little gem on you before I scoot out of this video. This person, Daryl Moore, would go around bragging about he is a paralegal. Okay. Hats off to paralegals out there who are doing great work. The law industry depends on you. You do excellent work. Those who are responsible with the duty and the trust that has been given to them. But let me tell you something very, very interesting. There is only one state in this country that regulates paralegals, which means their work is scrutinized by a state board with appointed representatives appointed by the governor. And they have subpoena power. They have the power to take action, to investigate all of that. There's only one state in this country, and that is the state I'm living in. So the fact that a person can use a paralegal, certificate, and not have any sort of regulation associated with it is pretty scary. Hopefully, other states will get on board and start instituting a certification process, because someone who does something like this should not have a paralegal certification. To abuse systems that you have been trusted with for your own personal gain and resorting to criminal conduct because you can't get one up on whoever you want to get one up on. People never resort to criminal conduct to wage battle. It's not worth it. You know there is much more to come. In the meantime, you know the drill. Buyer beware.